folks, I'm Mark Walker, and today I want to talk to you about bore cleaning. I have a different method of cleaning factory smokeless barrels versus match grade barrels versus black powder barrels, but today I just want to talk to you about the modern factory smokeless barrel, because that's what most of you are running. It's probably the most important video that they'll ever do, but out of all this stuff that I reload for the chamber dies and all that, I don't have a single gun that shoots better fouled or settled in versus stone clean. It's just really important. A lot of times the load gets blamed and you didn't test it right because the barrel was fouled. Sometimes it's the load, but more often than not, it's the bore's fouled. Okay, you're going to need a few things to get started to do this right. Starting with like a J. Dewey coated rod about the right length for what you're going to do. Sometimes I'll clean this with the brake on. This rod's a little too long, but it works. I've got shorter ones. You want to keep this clean as you're using it. You want the brass core bronze bristle brushes rather than this kind you get like at Walmart. You need a bore guide. I get these through Sinclair. I've got a bunch of them, different calibers for all the different guns I have. We'll be using this one today, and this will help keep that rod aligned correctly. Right size patches. These are Pro Shot 22 to 270 caliber. We're doing a factory barrel today. Here's a bore mop. That one needs to be cleaned up with some simple grain or something. But I'm going to use kind of a makeshift one for this because the ejector is in the way on this Ruger Hawkeye. So I'm just going to have a muzzleloader patch over it, and that will help me mop the bore out when I'm done cleaning. And I like the Dewey Jags here with the point on it, so I can just pierce the patch. Factory barrels, they really want a copper bad. They're really rough, and they're nothing like my match grade outfits. I just went to a discount store and I bought this Ruger 6.5 Creedmoor. And I know that the barrel's rough and it's not consistent end to end as far as the diameter in it, and I know that the bore is rough too, so we're going to address that copper pretty aggressively. We're going to use Remington bore cleaner, or you can use JB bore paste and coil, and for checking at the end of it we can use Barn CR10 or Sweets to see if we got all of our copper or not. Let's get started here. When these brushes lose a little dab of bite, it's time to just pitch them in the trash. They're pretty cheap, $1.95 a piece. I just get sacks of them for each caliber. But when one does lose its bite, if you got a factory barrel, it's good to hang on to for like a factory barrel that's going to be rough. I get this style patch that's got a little bit of stretch to it, and I start the top of the brush like that, put a little tension on it, and I just start rolling that down the patch like so. Set this aside for a second. And the first thing we're going to do is give it a good rinse with coil. We'll give it a rinse patch. I got a waste paper basket underneath the muzzle here, but if you're at the gun range, you can slide a ketchup bottle over it. Make sure that you plug off into your scope here so you don't get solvents or anything back on your glass. So let me just give it a rinse here. I'm going to get my bore guide. this rifle was only shot 14 times last night, and we're pretty dirty here, and that's to be expected. Wipe my rod off here. Okay. This is what I want you folks to really look at. You can see the end of that muzzle is just gold, and that's only after 14 shots. Now the rifle was still shooting, but I don't know how long it would hang on. So if we look sideways at the muzzle, we can see all this gold color, you know, across the lands here. And that's what we're trying to get rid of. That is definitely not more consistent than the barrel was without it. The next bullet will pass over that and it'll shear part of the jacket off. It'll throw it out of balance, and those create flyers out there at distance. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and start with the Remington bore cleaner, and we'll get this cleaned up. Okay, this Remington bore cleaner has a ball bearing in it. We want to shake it up. JB bore paste doesn't. Either one works fine. I kind of like this because it soaks in the patch. So we're going to give her a little stripe. Okay. I'm going to give it 10 cycles, which is out and back. I'm going to stop, add more to it, and give it 10 more. And that should about clean it up. Now, the way this is set up, I've got quite a bit of tension on the rod. So here we go in the bore guide. I'm keeping the rod straight and dead center in the bore guide. I'm having to push pretty firm. Okay, 1, 2, 3. There's 10. We're going to add a little more here. I'm not a huge fan of factory equipment. I used to run a lot of it, and now I have match grade equipment, and it goes a lot further between cleanings, and I can just clean that with brushes and solvent. And I'll do a video on that later with my match grade barrels. There's 10 more, so that's 20. I'm going to push a rinse through it. This is Croyle. Believe it or not, automatic transmission fluid works pretty good too. I've used that in a pinch. I'm going to take the camera and get it back on the muzzle again so we can take another look at it. These factory barrels, this Remington bore cleaner works a lot better than just brushes alone, especially brand new like this gun is. Okay, now you'll notice right here in the muzzle, that copper is gone. And I have cleaned this rifle with just brushes and solvent, and it will not do that. If you wrap a patch around a brush and you put plenty of Remington bore cleaner on it and give it about 20 cycles of good firm contact to the lands and the grooves, it'll remove it. And I don't like to mess around with these factory barrels so much. I want it out of there. Besides, it helps break the barrel in anyway. So I'm going to run 2 rinse patches through it, followed by a couple of dries, and that gun will pretty much be ready to shoot. Okay, here is the first dry patch that I ran through it. You can see it's just soaked with oil. And then here is the second dry patch that I ran through here. Now we're just a little bit damp with oil. I don't want it any drier than that. If I get this thing stone dry, that first shot is going to grip this rifling in the grooves, and it's going to lay copper down bad, and it'll foul out way sooner. It's important that that bullet travel over a little bit of lube and lay a little bit of carbon down behind it, and that will help protect that from the following shots. If it's stone dry, it'll grip like slicks on a racetrack, and this barrel will foul out way sooner. So it's important to leave that just a little bit damp. Also, this Remington bore cleaner, or JB bore paste, it's really the only thing that I know of that will totally get rid of carbon. I know a lot of the solvents say they will, and they do, the loose stuff. Here's some Shooter's Choice, here's some Hoppies, ran Butch's Bore Shine, and they do. They get most of the loose stuff out, but there's a base to it, and it sets up hard as iron, and it just keeps building right in the throat area and the lead, right where the neck ends. I had my smith cut my chamber lengthwise, and we looked at it after I shot that 1,200 rounds and rebarreled it, and I didn't ever use JB bore paste, and I never used a Remington bore cleaner on it. All I used was just plain old solvent and bristle brushes. Now the barrel looked pretty good, but you could see in the chamber, right in front of that chamber, I had this black stuff. It was just hard as iron, and what that'll do for you is it'll resize your bullet a little bit right here in the throat, and it won't be as accurate coming on out. You don't want that bullet damaged, especially in the beginning of its travel. So anyway, it's important to, my match grade barrels, believe it or not, every 300 rounds they get this treatment, just to address the carbon part of it, even though I'm getting the copper with the brush and the solvent. Okay, we're going to do a quick check and see if I in fact removed all the copper. My guess is it'll take one treatment of true copper solvent to get every bit of it out, but we're going to find out here in a minute. Okay, we're going to test to see if we've got all this copper out of there, and it's really important. It helps the barrel break in and trues things up, and the rifle's going to shoot straighter. Got a patch on here. I'm going to put some this Barnes CR10, works pretty good. Okay, now all I'm going to do is get this through the bore guide, and I'm going to short stroke this back and forth real slow, and I'm going to gradually keep working my way towards the muzzle. It'll probably take a full minute of this. Just keep working towards the muzzle. Keep the rod nice and straight. I'll do a little bit faster here. I know I want to keep you guys on here forever. Here's where everybody screws up. They'll leave it like this, and they'll go have a cup of coffee, and they run a dry patch through it, and it's blue every time. And the reason is, I've got this brass jag on here giving it a false reading. So I wipe this rod off, I get a new patch, and maybe I work stuff loose in here too. I have no way of knowing. So I'm gonna get a new patch, I'm gonna put a little bit more of the solvent on here, and I'm going to push it straight through the bore and let it fall out. Okay. Now you can go have your coffee or beer or something and come back and push a dry patch through it and check for color. Okay, I'm back, and this thing got 3 treatments of that Barnes CR10, and you'll notice left to right, I've actually got quite a little bit of blue on here. I hope the camera picks that up. Okay, now that was the first dry one through there. Yeah, I see heavy deposits of blue, and that's just pure copper. There's no more to it than that. And so I dried it out. I short stroked it with the Barnes CR10 again and pushed a rinse through it, and I waited again. And now the center patch, I've got a little bit more heavy blue, but I mean it's severely faded out compared to the first one. And anyway, I thought, well, I'll do it one more time, and this one I can barely detect any on it. And so this rifle is about clean. This is why I'm not a huge fan of factory rifles, factory barrels, I should say. I do have a lot of factory rifles been blueprinted and match grade barrels put on them, but when they foul like this, the accuracy isn't there, and you don't get as many shots between cleanings, and it's a royal pain. Now, when I was using the Remington bore cleaner, I noticed the first 10 cycles I gave it, the tension was about right, and then the patch kind of melted into the brush, it sunk into the brush, and I didn't have as much tension, and I thought about, switching it up and putting another patch on it, and I didn't. And this is the result of it. Usually the Remington bore cleaner or GV bore paste will actually remove it, in 20 cycles like that. Now, if I just put a patch with that Remington bore cleaner on it over Jag, I wouldn't be getting the corner of my lands. That's why I like to use a brush with it. But this rifle is going to get fire lapped. I've got a Nico pressure, they call it pressure lapping, but really you're fire lapping it with like shotgun or pistol powder at real low velocity. And when you get it stone clean like this and a layer of oil over it and you send one through it, all those tight and loose spots through the barrel, it kind of trues that up and it removes the real roughness on it. And you can make a factory barrel. I've never had a bad experience by fire lapping, but I don't overdo it. I only give it about 2. I give it 1 after I get it stone clean, and then I give it another one after it's clean again, and then I clean it again, and then that's good. Now that we have the copper out of it, I'm going to go ahead and prep the rifle so it's ready to shoot. So I've already got this good and dry. So I'm going to take, I've got Outers gun oil here. I'm not brand oil. I've used Butch's, I've used Hoppies. You just need a lightweight oil. I can even use Croyle, be alright. Anyway, I'm going to put that a little bit on the patch here. And I'm going to run it through the bore, flip it, run it through the bore again. And then I'm going to run a dry patch. And we'll see how wet the bore is. If it's too wet, we'll run one more dry patch and then the rifle will be ready to shoot. It didn't hit the ground, it hit the cleaning rack here. If it hit the ground, I wouldn't use it. Okay, let that fall off. Now we're going to chase it with a dry. And we're going to have a look. We're just slightly damp, and that's great. I'm going to put my first shot right over that. And there shouldn't be a flyer. I don't know that I can trust it 1,000 yards out, but I definitely would, 400 or in. And it protects the bore from copper on that first shot. If it's stone dry, like I said earlier, that copper will really grip it. Anyway, I'll do a video. If you guys want to keep seeing them, I'll do one on fire lapping. We can do this rifle here. I don't want to do it on the rest of my stuff because it's all custom, but I don't mind doing that on a factory rifle. But that's about all I have for right now, and I hope this helps you folks. I'll see you later. Anyway, I hope this helps you folks out, and you won't have to settle for MOA accuracy like at 100. We all know it doesn't equate into that, at long range or 1,000 for sure. And we're gonna cover a couple more topics like bullet seating depth. I'm not a bullet jumper. I plan on doing a video on that. And, you know, if you're just willing to put just a little bit more effort into the loading and into cleaning, you're gonna beat your buddies every time, you know, and you're gonna have a lot more fun shooting the rifle and be able to do a lot more things with it. So anyway, I hope it helps you guys out, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.